Tell him watch his back.
Come on out, Will. Go ahead, I got you, Will, I got you. Pull the chain, Will. Pull the chain.
This officer was running for his life in a desperate attempt to escape from a real-life house of horrors. Inside, the nightmare is far from over. The killer had taken a hostage, turning the scene into a deadly standoff.
Hey, man, come on out here.
I ain't going nowhere.
Where's our officer at? You got a hostage.
Yeah.
What do you got a hostage for? What's going on?
Don't try to think out where, man. I got another shot.
As the officers navigated the unknown, they had no idea of the true terror that awaited them. One wrong move could leave them scarred for life, or worse, dead.
She's up top. You up top. You up top. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
It all began on the morning of Thursday, April 4th, 2019, when the Henry County Police Department received a frantic 911 call from Anetria White.
Henry County 911 location. Can you please call? Please. Sandy. He's in the garage. Is he breathing, please? He's in the garage? I can see him, ma'am. His blood all over the driveway.
Anetria was growing increasingly worried. Her sister, 39-year-old Sandra White, 16-year-old nephew Arkevion White, and Sandra's live-in boyfriend, 47-year-old Anthony Bailey Jr., hadn't responded to texts or calls for hours. Concerned, she decided to check on them at Sandra's home in Stockbridge, Georgia, only to be met with a horrifying sight. Blood was seeping from the garage. As she peered through the glass window, she saw Sandra lying motionless, covered in blood. Panicked, Anetria immediately called 911. Officers were dispatched to the scene while the dispatcher stayed on the line with her. But just when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, Anetria made another shocking revelation.
We were having a baby shower on Saturday. You're having a baby shower on Saturday? So she's pregnant? Yeah, she's due on April 23rd. In 19 days. Okay.
Officer Shannon Foster was the first to arrive at the scene, but he had no idea what he was walking into. It was unclear whether this was a routine medical emergency or something far more sinister. After briefly consoling Anetria, Officer Foster moved forward to assess the situation. As he scanned the area, he noticed blood pooled between two cars parked in the driveway. He peered inside the vehicles, but saw nothing unusual. Then, with a growing sense of unease, he walked up to the garage and looked inside.
In the first set of windows, I don't see anything. So I go to the second side of the garage. I look down, and that's a woman's body. No movement, no anything. She's hurt. She needs medical attention.
Although Anetria was terrified, convinced that Sandra was already gone, Officer Foster wasn't so sure. At that moment, he speculated that Sandra might have gone into labor in the car and somehow managed to drag herself to the garage. But one thing was clear: if she was still alive, time was running out. The garage door wouldn't open, so Officer Foster quickly moved toward the front door, hoping to gain entry. Just then, his colleague, Officer Taylor Webb, arrived at the scene.
Hey, you got some gloves?
Yeah.
I got the full station. She's on that side.
He's in the garage.
Yeah. Laying down right there.
Step to your left. We can't go in the garage. We can go in the front door. That's locked.
I just knocked. Here we got the police!
Can you see her?
Yeah.
Is she responding?
No.
232 radio. Blood in the driveway. Females visible inside. Unresponsive. We're about to force entry. You ready, Foster? Let's go.
Realizing the urgency of the situation, the officers made a quick decision. They had to force their way in. With Officer Webb leading the way and Officer Foster right behind him, they broke down the door. But the moment they stepped in, they walked straight into an ambush.
He's on the no, don't go around. He's on the
As gunfire erupted, Officer Foster instinctively backed away toward the window, narrowly avoiding a bullet. In that split second, he caught a glimpse of the shooter, their eyes locked just before the assailant fired directly at him. By sheer luck, Foster wasn't hit. But at that moment, his biggest fear wasn't for himself. It was for Officer Webb. Webb had entered the house first, but he hadn't come back out. From the outside, there was no sign of him. No movement, no sound. Foster had no idea if his partner was injured, or worse. The situation spiraled out of control in mere seconds, and no one outside knew what was truly unfolding inside. Just then, a third officer, Keegan Merritt, arrived on the scene. As he stepped out of his car, the sharp cracks of gunfire rang out. Bracing for the unknown, Merritt stayed on high alert as he cautiously approached the house.
I draw my weapon, and I'm kind of evaluating what is this. Oh, watch out.
Anetria, still at the scene, suddenly found herself caught in the crossfire. Officers yelled for her to get to safety, and she sprinted across the street, taking cover behind a neighbor's truck. Seeing her sister in such a horrific state had already shaken her, but now she was even more terrified. What had happened to Arkevion and Anthony? For the officers, the situation was just as chaotic. They had managed to dodge the bullets, but they were completely in the dark about what was really happening. At first, they believed it was a burglary gone wrong, but now it had turned into a full-blown, potentially deadly standoff. As the gunfire raged on, 3 more officers, Joseph Maddox, Mark Rommelman, and Justin Boggs, arrived on their motorcycles. But within moments, they too would be forced to dive for cover, caught up in the escalating violence.
Hey, somebody inside the house. He's inside the house right now on the stairs. On the stairs? Stairs right there.
The officers quickly took cover in different positions, desperately trying to make contact with Officer Webb. It was critical. They couldn't just storm the house blindly. Rushing in without a plan wouldn't just put their own lives at risk, but it could also endanger Webb even more. After multiple failed attempts to reach him, Officer Merritt made a split-second decision. He ran to his police van to grab a more powerful weapon, the AR-15 rifle. With its superior power and precision, it could give them the upper hand in what was turning into a deadly ambush, where every shot could mean the difference between life or death.
I'm grabbing my AR.
Where's Webb?
Tell him back up and get some cover. Webb, you okay?
With his rifle held close to his chest, Officer Merritt took position behind a small tree, keeping his sights locked on the house's doorway. Though the tree barely concealed his tall and sturdy frame, it was his best chance to take down the gunman, who had blocked off every other vantage point, leaving Merritt with this single fragile line of attack. If the gunman made a move, Merritt had to be faster. Then, out of nowhere, the gunman spoke, as if he had been waiting for this exact moment.
Come here, I got a lot of shots. I got 30 round clips in here.
Hey man, come on out here.
I ain't coming nowhere.
Where's our officer at?
Anybody got out of the Webb yet?
Where's our officer at?
He's downstairs somewhere.
Where's he at?
I don't know. I shot him and he moving.
The officers were already fearing the worst, knowing their partner was trapped inside. But when the gunman confirmed that he had directly fired at Officer Webb, a chilling realization set in. Webb might not have survived the attack. Still, there was no time to dwell on that. Their priority was to get him out and take control of the situation. Officer Merritt continued to engage the gunman in conversation, hoping to keep him talking long enough to prevent another round of gunfire. But just as they thought they had a handle on the standoff, the gunman dropped a detail that sent an even deeper wave of fear through them.
Hey man, come on out here.
I ain't coming nowhere. He's not coming here. I got a hostage.
You got a hostage?
Yeah.
What do you got a hostage for? What's going on?
All the officers knew that Sandra and Webb were in different parts of the garage, so they probably weren't being held hostage, though their lives were still in grave danger. But Arkevion and Anthony were still missing. Even worse, there was no way to tell if the gunman was bluffing or if his threats were real. But soon the mystery of the gunman's identity would unravel, and in a way no one saw coming. Meanwhile, Enetria remained stuck at the neighbor's house, her mind racing with fear for her sister and her family. When she saw two officers approaching, she braced herself for an update, hoping for good news. But instead, they told her the situation was still just as dangerous. Just as despair began to settle in, her phone buzzed with a text from Anthony. For a split second, she felt relieved. At least someone was responding. But as she read the message, that relief turned into sheer horror.
He texted me and he was like, tell them don't come in, I have Kiwi. They asked me to write a statement. I couldn't even write because I was crying so hard.
The text was nothing short of a bombshell, shattering any notion that this was just a random home invasion. Instead, it became clear that the situation was far more dangerous. Anthony wasn't some outsider. He knew every inch of the house, which meant he had the upper hand. And if he was willing to harm his own family, negotiating with him would be nearly impossible. For Enetria, the revelation was even more devastating. There had never been any red flags about Anthony before. No warnings, no signs. She couldn't comprehend why he would do something so unthinkable.
Until that moment, to be honest with you, I can't say anything bad about Mr. Bailey at all. It's hard to imagine that he would do something like that.
The officers advised Enetria to try reaching out to Anthony, hoping she could calm him down in any way possible. But regardless of how many times she called or texted, there was no response. Meanwhile, officers relayed the critical information over the radio, fully aware that with every passing minute, the situation was becoming more volatile.
We're getting information. There's current texting going on. Suspect is holding a gun to the hostage's head. And if anybody tries to approach, he's gonna kill them.
As the officers were still trying to figure out their next move, Officer Foster, still cornered at the edge of the garage, suddenly heard movement coming from inside.
What is that? Hey, get back in the garage. In the garage. Who's in the garage? Somebody's in the garage.
At first, the officers assumed it was Anthony, since they had no idea where he was inside the house. Officer Foster stayed low, trying to take cover without revealing his position, unsure of what Anthony's next move might be. But just a second later, they made a shocking, yet unexpectedly relieving discovery.
Somebody's in the garage.
That's Webb, get him out.
Get him out.
Bust the window!
Bust the window or something.
Use your baton!
Where?
Hey, you alright, Webb?
Webb, you okay?
Tell him to watch his back.
Come on out, Webb.
The tension outside was overwhelming, but for Officer Webb trapped inside, it was a house of horrors.
It went from an average day to absolute chaos in about 2.5 seconds. It's not like what Hollywood says. Time doesn't slow down, your brain speeds up. After I kicked in the front door, I took a step forward and looked left, didn't see anything pressing. And as I took the second step, the bad guy came down the stairs and opened fire.
In a split second, Officer Webb realized he had been shot twice, once in the chest and once in the hip. The force of the bullet sent him crashing to the ground. He knew staying in the doorway was a death sentence, and if he didn't move fast, he wouldn't make it out alive. Summoning every ounce of strength, he crawled behind a wall, positioning himself out of sight from the stairwell.
The hardest part for me was hearing them call for me, asking if I was okay, and not being able to tell them that I was. I knew that not responding was just ripping their guts out. Had I returned communications either by shouting or radio, he would know exactly where I was, and he could start shooting me through the walls of the house. I didn't have any choice.
But Webb quickly realized he couldn't stay there for long. He had no idea how long it would take for his colleagues to get to him. His own life was hanging by a thread, but more importantly, Sandra might still have a chance, if it wasn't already too late. With no other choice, Webb made a bold move. Keeping low, he crawled across the kitchen floor on his stomach, inching toward the garage. Then, just a few feet ahead, he saw her, Sandra's body, motionless on the cold floor.
I could see the victim lying on the ground behind a car that was parked in the garage. I got a little closer to her, and I could clearly see that she was deceased, and she had been that way for several hours.
Webb's grim discovery shifted everything. His only goal now was to get out of that house alive. But there was one big problem. His body wasn't cooperating. The pain and shock were taking their toll, slowing him down just when he needed to move the most.
I could see everything slowly starting to get darker and darker and darker. I was starting to get more tunnel vision. I was starting to lose feeling in my fingertips. My motor functions were going down. Even my cognitive ability, my ability to think clearly, I could tell my mind was starting to get more muddled. I was having a hard time forming coherent thought.
Webb, barely able to think straight, pounded on the garage door with all the strength he had left before collapsing to the ground. Luckily, the noise was enough to alert everyone outside. The officers were relieved to know Webb was still conscious and trying to escape. But the danger wasn't over yet. The gunman could strike from behind at any moment, so they had to move fast. Smashing a window seemed like the quickest way to get Webb out, but there was a problem. It was too high and too narrow. Webb had no way of climbing out.
There's no way he's climbing out of those windows. And so I just look at my coworkers, my brothers, and I'm like, hey guys, y'all got me. I put all my might into getting Webb out of that garage. I don't know where it came from. All I knew is somebody had to do something.
Officer Maddox didn't have any woodcutting tools on hand, and firing his weapon was out of the question. It could accidentally hit Officer Webb. With no other choice, he started kicking the wooden panel with all his strength. Blow after blow, he didn't stop until the wood splintered and finally gave way.
I actually see the wood just splintering in. I mustered up the last of my strength, thought as small as I possibly could, and dove out through the opening in the garage. Webb.
Come on, get up. Hey, what's up? Where? You? There, get out.
As Officer Webb lay on the ground, the other officers carefully began assessing his wounds.
Hit the chest and the hip. In his chest and his head. That's and his radio too. We'll talk to him, baby. Keep breathing.
The bullet to his chest wasn't fatal. His bulletproof vest had done its job. But the shot to his hip was more concerning. There was no exit wound, which meant the bullet could have punctured a vital organ or caused internal bleeding. He wasn't bleeding heavily on the outside, but that didn't mean he was out of danger just yet. Fortunately, paramedics arrived within minutes and quickly began treating Officer Webb. Once he was in their care, the rest of the team shifted their focus back to dealing with the gunman.
All right, let me get in here and work, guys. Let me get in here and work. Come on. Y'all got it. Hey, Boggs and Joey, as soon as they drop him, come back up here. We're gonna need all the 99 guys up here. Got him? Yeah, we're good.
Now that they knew Sandra was gone, rescuing Arkevion became their top priority. The fragile line between life and death was now in their hands. Officer Merritt, still crouched behind the tree, decided to try talking to Anthony again. If Anthony could hear him, it meant he was likely close to the door, a critical piece of information that could help them plan their next move.
Hey, bud. Hey, man. Yeah. What's going on? What's the problem?
I got a lot of shots.
What?
Don't tell me to think out well, man. I got a lot of shots.
Well, what's the problem?
After issuing a warning to Officer Merritt, Anthony fell silent. With no clear plan in place, Officers Rommelman and Maddox decided to cut across the front yard and move toward the back of the house. It was a risky move. They were completely exposed with no cover, but their goal was to surround the house in case Anthony tried to escape from another exit. But nothing could have prepared them for the sudden attack that followed just moments later.
Hey, man. What's the problem? Ah! You're up.
I'm sure your shot fired.
Mary, you good? Mary! I'm here.
The bullet struck his right hand, nearly severing his finger, which now dangled as if it might fall off. But Merritt didn't have time to focus on the pain. His survival instincts kicked in and he started crawling backward, desperately trying to get out of the yard. He knew he was a sitting duck, completely exposed with no visual on Anthony, who had the upper hand from a hidden vantage point. One more shot could have ended Merritt's life, but luck was on his side. Somehow, he managed to reach the other officers waiting at the back of the house.
I didn't see him. Here. Hey, someone take my rifle. Here. Someone take my rifle. Hey, left side, there's a stairway. Left side, there's a stairway. Jim, shoot him. A pistol, or maybe an AR. Said he had 30 rounds.
A paramedic quickly led Officer Merritt to the ambulance, where he was given immediate medical attention. But while Merritt was being treated, the Henry County Police were still far from gaining control of the situation at the crime scene. With 2 officers down, the odds of rescuing Arcavian seemed nearly impossible. Realizing the gravity of the situation, authorities escalated their response. The entire neighborhood was locked down and reinforcements poured in. SWAT teams arrived in armored vehicles with support from all the nearby counties. The standoff had now become a full-scale emergency.
And responding SO units that are assisting, they can shut down the neighborhood and as a secondary perimeter.
Last I get from Navy, clear to shut down the subdivision.
Radio info, we made contact with anybody reference a armored person up here. Lake County SWAT is 10-7. They are hitting their armored vehicle here now. Calling on the flag, you have a negotiator and a drone in on.
Back at the scene, Officer Foster remained pinned by the garage. Just above him, there was an open window, which seemed like a perfect vantage point for the shooter. Foster feared Anthony might try to take him out from there, so he stayed frozen in place waiting for backup. 2 long, nerve-wracking hours later, the SWAT teams finally moved in and rescued him.
That was when it first going on.
Okay, you good?
Yeah. Yeah.
As day turned to night, authorities continued their attempts to negotiate with Anthony. However, he refused to confirm whether Arcavian was still alive and eventually fell completely silent. With no other options, the SWAT team changed tactics. They deployed tear gas canisters at every window to force Anthony out. However, the retaliation that came from the other side was far more violent.
I couldn't tell you how many times he fired, but he fired multiple rounds, ricocheting off. Couldn't tell where it was coming from. We couldn't see the suspect to get a shot off at him.
After hours of fruitless negotiations and countless tactical maneuvers, the SWAT team finally decided to make a forced entry into the house. The grueling 16-hour standoff had tested every ounce of their resolve, but what they discovered inside made all their efforts seem heartbreakingly futile. In the garage, they found Sandra's lifeless body, the fatal wound from a close-range gunshot leaving no room for doubt. As they cautiously moved through the house and into an upstairs bedroom, their worst fears came true. There they discovered Arcavian's body. The young boy had also been shot at close range. The grim realization hit the officers hard. While they had held on to hope that Arcavian was unharmed, he had in fact been dead for hours. But the horrors didn't end there. In another bedroom, they found Anthony Bailey, dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. He had taken his own life, escaping justice and taking with him the answers to the haunting question of why. By 5:30 a.m., when Sandra's family was informed, they were in disbelief. While they knew Sandra and Anthony's relationship had its ups and downs, there had never been any signs of abuse. Now, they were left grappling with the unimaginable.
It just kept playing over and over in my head, like, why would somebody do this?
As detectives delved deeper into the case, they uncovered disturbing details that painted a clearer yet more unsettling picture of what might have led to the tragedy. Sandra's family hadn't noticed any glaring red flags, but that may have been because she chose to keep her struggles to herself. However, they did recall one troubling incident from March 2018 when Sandra had grown frustrated with Anthony's drinking problem and served him an official eviction notice. Yet he refused to leave. Investigators now believe that Sandra had been unhappy in the relationship for quite some time and was likely trying to end it for good. A post she shared on Facebook just hours before her death seemed to echo those sentiments. You should be with a person you can grow with, not with someone who doesn't have any goals in life. Life is too short to be unhappy every day. Everyone is just not meant to be. Authorities suspect that Anthony lashed out when Sandra finally decided to break free from the relationship. But perhaps the most alarming discovery was the fact that Anthony Bailey should never have had access to a firearm in the first place. As a convicted felon who served a nearly 2-year prison sentence for aggravated assault back in the 90s, federal law prohibited him from possessing any firearms. However, due to gaps in state laws, particularly in Georgia, which lacks a system to confiscate firearms from convicted criminals, the weapons ultimately fell into the wrong hands. The wounded officers, Taylor Webb and Keegan Merritt, were taken to Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta. They would physically recover, but the emotional scars from that day would haunt them forever.
This whole thing has quite drastically changed my life, without a doubt.
Still recovering. My hand is still messed up. You know, I went through a lot of stuff after I was shot.
The loss Sandra's family suffered was immeasurable. Sandra had been eagerly awaiting the birth of her son Antonio, who was due on April 29th. Tragically, the boy would never get the chance to see the world. Arkevion, a promising football star with dreams of pursuing higher education and an athletic career, had recently toured a college, brimming with hope for the future. Sandra's baby shower was scheduled for Saturday, April 6th, 2019. Instead, on that same day, her family was forced to plan a funeral. A day meant for joy and celebration turned into one of unbearable grief.
She's always just the type of person where she's fun to be around. And I still hear a voice in my head. And what has happened to my family, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
Before we wrap up this video, we want to extend our deepest condolences to Sandra's family. In the U.S., homicide is the leading cause of death for pregnant women, a heartbreaking reality that claimed Sandra White, her young son, and her unborn child.
We're gonna start creeping that way. We're gonna just check out. But no. Do not move! You hear me? Please, let us hear. Stand! Put your hands up! Put your hands on your face! Put your hands on your face! Sit still! Head your face, driver! Keep your head to your face! Do not move! Go to the ground! Go to the ground!
Babe, what's going on? Why are we on TV?
Don't talk to them.
On December 7th, 2018, authorities in Georgia were alarmed about a killer couple while trying to solve a brutal murder incident. In a twisted investigation, the officers discovered a locked apartment hiding disturbing scenes inside, only to reveal to the cops that they were standing in the murder house of the couple who had already fled the area and had started planning their next hunt with no idea that cops were coming for them.
I just at this point feel like I need to kill myself because look what I've done. Will I be able to contact family before we go to jail?
At around 10:15 p.m. on December 7th, 2018, officers in Gwinnett County, Georgia, were dispatched to the 4300 block of Leland Place Lane in Lawrenceville after receiving a 911 call about a car accident. In the call, a man told the dispatchers that his friend had been hit by a car. When responding officers arrived, they found a man heavily bleeding from the head and lying near a tree close to an apartment building. He was rushed to the emergency room, but unfortunately, could not be saved by the doctors. The man was identified as 32-year-old Marcos Guerra Lopez, an immigrant from Mexico. Marcos died the next day from a blunt force trauma to the head that had further fractured his skull and injured the orbital part above the eyes. Officers noted that there were no visible injuries on the man below the neck, which led them to suspect that it was maybe not a car accident that killed him. By the time the case was handed over to the county detectives, they were already 2 days behind on their investigation. Starting from scratch, detectives first met with the 911 caller to hear the initiating events that turned lethal. This man worked with Marcos as a construction worker, and the incident happened 2 weeks after Marcos had returned from his hometown in Mexico.
I'm Detective Smith. You're not in any trouble. All we care about is finding who did this. Does his family know what happened?
Yes.
Okay. So start from the beginning on Friday and tell me how you got to that point.
That day we were in construction. Lunchtime we were looking at the Meet Me page.
The man said they were using an online app called Meet Me to find a woman for Marcos.
I saw that girl, Glenda Williams, on the Meet Me app, and she's was giving out her phone number, saying money for that's all her, like, for him.
Mm-hmm. Because he doesn't speak English, right?
Yes, because he just got here to Lawrenceville like 3 weeks ago from Mexico.
Okay.
I asked her, do you have a place? And she's like, yes, I got a vacant place in the apartment where I was living.
According to the man, Glenda told them she used her old apartment for these meetups and invited them to drive to the same place. The man stated that Glenda had first asked them if they had gotten paid by that day.
He sent her a picture of him. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you're sexy, beautiful, and all that. And she's like, you must have, yes, have gotten paid.
Why did she say that?
I don't know, because, like, probably was Friday, and she told her, like, everybody got paid on Friday.
How much did he have on him?
I'm guessing, like, between $1,000 and $2,000.
Okay. So you guys get there. Where's she at?
When we got there, she was already lined up for us to follow her.
He said that Glenda was already waiting for them in a red SUV when they got to the address.
She said, come on, follow me. I saw him going there, but I didn't see him.
Do you know if he went up the stairs? Do you know any of that?
No. After a while, I saw like a black guy walk out of that corridor.
Okay.
And I got in the SUV.
So he got into that red SUV?
SUV.
Okay.
And took off. Like, that must be like the girl's pimp, Glenda Williams.
Next, the man said they got a nerve-chilling call from none other than Marcos, but he wasn't the one speaking from the other side.
When 8:50 and 9:10, the guy called us and said, you better come and get this. We beat him up and he's going to die like in 30 minutes if you don't come and get him. And I heard Marcus like screaming on the background, like screaming like painful screams.
Uh-huh.
We were looking for him.
For the next hour, the man said he and his friend kept looking for Marcos, and they finally found him lying outside the building. The officers wanted to know about Glenda Williams, who invited them in the first place.
What did this Glenda girl look like? You showed us her on the meetup app, right? Mm-hmm. Did you find her on Facebook or anywhere else?
After that, I've been searching her on Facebook and I compared pictures from Meet Me to Facebook, and they look alike. And it's
so you did find one?
It's Glenda and Russell Williams.
The Facebook page found by the victim's friend belonged to Glenda, but it was a shared account with a man named Russell Williams. Following the information, detectives also found a Facebook page named Glenda and Russell Williams with a picture of Glenda and her partner. They learned from the page that the couple was used to selling various items on Facebook. Detectives also found that Russell owned a red 2007 Mercury Mariner, which matched the red SUV vehicle description given by the 911 caller. His last registered address was the same apartment complex where Marcos had gone to. Detectives now had to verify the address to be sure it belonged to the same man, but shocking news awaited them at the site that further added chills to the scenario. When detectives reached the apartment complex, they saw patrol officers already working at the scene. Detectives learned that another incident of the exact nature had happened with another man around a few hours earlier. A man was lured into an apartment with the invitation of action for money, but it turned out to be a grisly nightmare for him. Detectives lay their hands on the suspect's lease papers, which reveal the full name of the woman as 20-year-old Glenda Carter. The victim, before being taken to the hospital, claimed that a short white female with black hair came to get him, and when he entered an apartment, he was beaten with a baseball bat and robbed. Coming across two incidents of a common nature in 2 days straight now concerned the detectives, who had known by now that they were dealing with multiple suspects, but did not have any physical evidence against them yet. Immediately after the second incident, detectives seized the apartment and went to inspect inside.
We are going to go into the apartment and see if we can find any of the objects that could have been used to hit either of the victims. We're going to be looking for blood, just anything that'll help us identify the people staying in the apartment.
There's maybe blood drops on there.
That looks like it though.
Detectives found the apartment all empty, but horror was unleashed upon them once they entered the master bedroom. The room's carpet was disturbingly painted with large stains of blood. The splatters had also reached up the walls. A bloody hand was printed on the carpet, trying to paint the picture of a victim's struggle to escape.
He's aspirating blood out.
Detectives were now sure that both their victims were kept in the same room. Confident about getting some leads about the residents, detectives ran a neighborhood canvass, but neighbors had heard nothing unusual from the house.
So we didn't really catch anything. Nobody really heard or saw anything.
Out of potential leads about the suspects, detectives got to know that the second victim, who was still in the hospital, had recovered and was ready to talk. Hence, they arranged a meeting in the hospital.
Hey, I'm Detective Poppy. This is Detective Hamley. You feeling all right now, or?
Oh yeah, I'm too. You know,
What's going on with your arms? Are your arms broken?
it's broken days, you know.
We're trying to get a little more information on what happened yesterday. You went to the apartment complex? Is that where this happened?
Me coming there, yeah. Well, that girl I see.
The victim then began to reveal shocking sights he claimed to have witnessed after meeting the woman.
They say a man is 34. She went for me already. Open the door and everything. When I go inside, the two guys coming. I try to open the door. One attacked me to the back. When he turned around, the other guy hit me to the back in my head.
With the bat?
Yeah. I hit it, that guy. When I hit it, the guy got to the store, I took the other one back. Later, give me like 2 or 3 more bats. That's what happened with my hand. He asked me for the water. He wanted some money. And I said, I don't got it. I leave in the car.
How did you manage to get away?
Because he got a lot of blood everywhere, you know, white shirt. He go to the bathroom, he try to wash and everything. Then the other boy, I pushed the little boy. I pushed. When I pushed, I run out. I jumped down to the harbor. I got my key in the engine. And I go.
Now, the 2 guys in the apartment, you said one guy's tall?
So, yeah, he weighed maybe 180. He got like 19 or 20 years. The guy
has a bat.
Yeah.
Okay. He was a black male?
Yeah, but the other one, the big one, got a little bit and a little big fat.
So he had a little bit of hair in his chin and stocky?
Yes.
Was his skin light or dark? Okay.
Next, the detectives showed him pictures of Glenda and Russell, but they were not expecting the answer they got.
You don't see anybody in there? No.
The victim could not identify either of the suspects that detectives had. He mentioned a tall black male who had hit him with a baseball bat, but according to his ending statement, it was not Russell Williams. It was frustrating for the detectives not to get a solid testimony, but it was also believed that the trauma the victim had endured after the sudden attack may have kept him from taking a good look at the attackers, and he might not have been able to recall the faces just yet. In any case, detectives needed to make a solid move quickly. But with the suspect's unknown whereabouts, they knew they had one resort: to return to Glenda and Russell's Facebook page and let the internet do its thing. The couple was currently trying to sell a TV online, and detectives decided to make an offer from their side. They used a fake account to bait the suspect and asked if the TV was still available. Luckily, it was still available, and with a smooth conversation, a mutual time was fixed between the 2 parties to meet in person the next day. Hope hovered over the investigation, assuming that the suspects would fall into the trap themselves without the detectives having to find them. Detectives obtained 2 warrants for Glenda regarding aggravated assault and armed robbery. If everything went according to plan, detectives would have enough to take the suspects into custody. However, things could also go wrong, as there was no surety about who and how many of them would be there. With the assistance of an undercover sting operation officer from the narcotics unit, detectives headed out to the meeting point with their eyes on a red SUV's arrival.
Going to be in that maroon Mercury Mariner, so that's good for us. So we'll also have the car that they were in when the homicide occurred. Now we wait until she shows up. They're going to deploy a flashbang for the element of surprise.
And then the hunt showed up.
Mercury, I should be calling in.
Yes.
You should be calling in, talking. We're gonna start creeping that way. We're gonna just check out. On your face! Put your hands on your face right now! Do not move! You hear me? Sit still! Head your face, driver! Keep your head to your face! Do not move! Go to the ground! Go to the ground! Go to the ground!
Detectives identified Glenda Carter and took her into custody.
Babe, what's going on? Why are we on TV?
Russell Williams was also found and detained for questioning. A baseball bat with stains of blood was obtained from the vehicle.
You see that bat has blood on it?
Glenda said a relative of theirs was present in the inn nearby.
Glenda, I'm Detective Smith. You guys are staying at the Red Roof?
Yes.
Okay, what room are you staying in?
206.
Is anybody else in there?
Yes, his brother.
Okay, what's his name?
Zarius Williams.
Okay.
The red SUV and brought the suspects to the station for questioning. With 3 suspects arrested, it was still a mystery to the detectives who the shot caller behind these lethal actions was, whom the detectives suspected to be the third guy they were looking for. Zarius was also a local graduate from Tequila, Georgia, like his brother Russell, and had no prior convictions. Detectives first began their questioning with the woman in talks, Glenda.
I'm Detective Lane. This is Detective Smith.
I know you're pretty upset right now. You okay?
I just want to know.
Do what?
I want to know what's happening.
Okay. So we have an individual who was robbed of his items, okay? And that took place in the apartment that was registered to you and Russell. Okay, so that's kind of how we got to where we're at today. Okay, so talk to me about Friday.
Glenda was asked about the day Marcos and his friends met her.
Tell me how that occurred. Just start at the beginning and kind of walk me through.
I didn't mean for that. That's okay. We needed the money. I planned on selling my body.
How are you meeting these guys?
Meet me. I was planning on having sex with all 3 of these dudes.
Okay.
They all was like, yes, we'll all pay you $60. And I was like, okay, that's $180. That's half of my room that I need to provide a roof over my head and food.
Glenda said that Russell and Zarius were there only for her protection, but things did not go well the day she met Marcos.
Russell and Zarius was just there in the back room just in case if I got
Where did it go wrong?
Yeah, so how did we get to this point?
I started feeling on the dude, and then I went to the bathroom to, I guess, clean myself, and then that's when they just jumped out. Zarius had the baseball bat, and Russell, they both just jumped out. I was confused. I didn't know.
So you didn't know they were going to do that?
No, I had no idea. I was
Okay, so you're in the room and they jump out. Did you tell them to stop?
I was yelling. I was like, stop it, it's serious. He was like, you shut the f*** up. I was in shock. I was going to legit sell myself. Because,
Okay.
I mean, when you're in desperate need of money, when you're homeless, I'm homeless basically. I'm trying to have baby and stuff. I'm just trying to figure
Where's
out
your baby at?
defects.
Glenda said that her daughter was in foster care and she needed to get her back.
Is it your child with Russell?
With Russell, yes.
So you said Zarius had the bat and he hits the guy. How many times did he hit him?
This dude was like trying to fight them. He fell and they kept beating on him. I guess the dude, passed out or something, and they literally dragged him to the tree.
But you didn't plan for them to do that, right?
No, I just planned on selling myself.
I mean, you kind of knew that they were probably going to just try to take his stuff, right?
Glenda seemed unprepared for the actual questions detectives had.
Was that the plan, just to take their stuff and you're not actually going to sleep with them?
Possibly. I didn't know I was
Okay.
going to beat him like that.
Okay.
It broke my heart, literally. I
Okay.
cried that night.
So what did they take from him? What did you guys take from him?
They took literally just his wallet and
Okay.
his phone. So I'm willing to return the money to the guy.
Okay. So how long was it before his friends went to go find him?
Sirius had the phone, and the people kept calling the person's phone. Darius answered and was like, I beat your man, your friend, and I took them by the tree. Just go get him.
Why do you think Zarius made those statements?
Russell at the time was saying, I feel bad for this dude. Like, this dude could be dead.
At any point, did you guys call 911?
No, Russell wanted to, I guess, make an anonymous call. And Zarius was in the back like, no, you just have to stop being a y'all just go along with it. They're illegal. What they want to do.
All right. So on Sunday, what happened on Sunday?
It was just the same thing. I told them, only do it if they try to hurt me. Like, only hurt somebody if they've hurt me. And it was like, okay, we got this.
Well, let us talk to everybody else and then we'll just come back and talk to you, okay?
Detectives then went to have a talk with Russell Williams and see if his story matched Glenda's.
We've talked to other people, and we know that there were some things happening where some people, ended up getting hurt. Okay. Ultimately, that apartment and where we know that things happened came back to you guys. But what I want you to do is just kind of explain it all to us so we can kind of understand what's going on, okay?
For sure. He was in a bad financial situation. That's all that was. And I have a job. We're trying to survive off of my income.
What do you work at?
I'm a welder.
So we know there was an incident that occurred on Friday at the apartment, okay? So can you walk me through that?
Well, I guess she just ended up talking to one of her friends, her friend over to the apartment complex. I was talking to the guy, asked me if he had any money. We asked, can we borrow some money? We got agitated. We got kind of forceful.
Russell's story began to differ from what the detectives knew.
He ended up trying to touch on Glenda. We were just trying to ask you for some money, ask you for some help.
Okay, so who hit who first?
I was telling him, yo, don't touch my wife. This is my wife. And then he ended up hitting me, and I had to hit him back. I actually just pinned him down, actually, honestly.
Okay, so you pinned him down.
I learned that trade from in the military.
So at what point did Zarius come in with a bat?
I guess he was trying to defend me because, that's what brothers do.
Then what happens? What really happens after that?
After that, and I carried him down the stairs.
Okay.
Down the stairs.
What happened after that? Because we know that his friends were receiving some messages from the guy's phone.
We ended up sending him a message of where he was.
Listen, Russell, I'm trying to be patient with you, but you're not being honest with us, man. And I'm not going to sit here forever and hear all this stuff. You're trying to say that these guys bucked up on you first. We know that's not what happened. We know that you guys invited these gentlemen over there with the intentions of robbing them from the start. Simple as that. Yeah, they were fighting you back after you attacked them, correct? I mean, there's a bloody baseball bat in your car registered to you. You want to explain that? What's going on, man? Like, what's going on in your life that you guys need to do this?
This is not what's going on in our life. We just really wanted our daughters. That's all.
Explain that to me. When did you lose your daughter?
We couldn't afford to take care of her, so now she's in foster care. I don't know how, but somewhere down the road we became financially behind. All the bills that we had, like a car note, car insurance, we had credit people to pay back.
So this is understandable. This makes me feel like you actually are a human being. Do you understand?
Things took a drastic change for the detectives once they wanted to know who was the mind behind that action.
I guess my biggest concern here is whose idea was this?
I guess it was like Glenda's idea.
Okay, once he got in the bedroom, where were you and your brother?
In the room.
What happened? Specifically, what happened?
I asked him if he had any money, and then he ended up grabbing up on me and pushed me back against the other side of the wall. That's when instincts kicked in, and I got mad and I hit him.
How many times did you hit him?
I hit him one time.
That's not true. We've been in that room. We saw the blood. We saw his face. His eyeball was almost out of his face completely. It's not from one hit. What happened in that room?
And my brother ended up hitting him with the baseball bat.
How many times?
I would say maybe about 3 times.
True.
Because he had ended up hitting him in the face.
Okay, so when you guys left the guy on Friday, you said that he was awake, alive. I mean, you said he was unconscious, I think, right?
No,
you don't know?
He was hot.
Well, here's the thing. He's dead. We're homicide detectives, okay?
He's dead as a result from the injuries he sustained during your incident. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us, Russell?
Did you say no?
No.
All right. He didn't come out as easy with it, but he gave it up.
Russell tried to shape the story in his favor, but failed. Detectives then turned to their last suspect, Zarius.
We know that there were some incidents that have occurred over the past weekend, okay? We want to make sure that we're clear on your involvement and that you get to tell your side, okay?
All I know is that it was just like a little setup, basically. Okay. That I hid in one of the rooms was that as soon as his back was turned, I jumped out. Was all I did was hit him a few times so that I made sure he was on the ground.
What'd you hit him with? Your fists, feet?
Fists.
Okay, what about the bat?
I have no involvement with the bat.
We've talked to everybody else, and they say you had the bat. Okay, you may have hit him with your fist, but you also hit him with the bat. So which one did you do first?
It was a hand first.
Okay, and then when you hit him with the bat, how many times do you think you hit him?
3 or 4.
Whose idea was this?
I'm saying Glenda did. Glenda's.
And it was her idea for y'all to rob them.
Yes.
Detectives then told Zarius what happened with the guy they beat up.
The guy from Friday is dead.
We are homicide detectives, and he died as a result of the injuries that he sustained on Friday.
Did you know that he had gone that far when he was unconscious, laying there gurgling?
I mean, I thought that he was going to recover from that. Yes, I thought he was.
Interesting reaction, man.
All right, sit tight for us, okay?
Detectives then returned to confront Glenda Carter's story. But after talking to the guys, it didn't take long for her to come clean.
Everything okay? A couple things came up in our other interviews. They're saying that it was your idea to rob these guys.
Is that true?
I didn't help them do it. I just brought the guys. I didn't know what to do.
Okay, but you knew that they were going to be robbed.
I didn't know that they was going to be hurt, though.
Okay. The victim from yesterday had some pretty bad injuries. He underwent some surgery for his hand. He also had a broken arm. Okay. The victim from Friday is deceased. He's dead as a result of the injuries he sustained from you guys.
Well, what's going to happen, honestly?
Y'all are going to be looking at felony murder charges. Okay?
So we're all going to jail today?
Absolutely, yes.
Will I be able to contact family before we go to jail?
We might let you do that.
No. I just at this point feel like I need to kill myself because look what I've done.
Listen, you have a child to think about, all right?
Yes, and I'm possibly pregnant with another one. So it's like I don't have nothing to live for. She don't deserve me as a mom.
Well, I don't think that's true. Listen.
Then you'll be transported to the jail. You'll see a judge rather soon in the next couple of days who will explain everything to you in regards to your charges, okay? And you'll be able to get an attorney or have one appointed to you.
Shockingly, the sympathy for Glenda and Russell due to their daughter also turned into a sad revelation. After detectives tried to know more about the little girl from the Department of Family and Children's Services, it turned out that Glenda had no child in foster care, she was not pregnant, and she did not have a child ever.
So I talked to the Department of Family and Children's Services, and I was able to find out that they do not have a child actually, and they have lied about it before. And other times where Glenda's had run-in with the police, she uses that as kind of a tactic where she's told them that she can't go to jail because she has a child at home that she needs to take care of. But they were able to confirm that that's never happened.
Within 28 hours, detectives closed the case and arrested all 3 suspects. Glenda Carter was arrested on the charges of murder, aggravated assault, and armed robbery. She was later convicted of all 3 charges. Glenda's partner, Russell Williams, entered an offered plea to murder, aggravated assault, and armed robbery. He was sentenced to life in prison along with his brother Zarius, who would also spend his life in prison for murder, aggravated assault, and armed robbery. A simple man from Mexico who was working hard in America to give whatever comfort he could to his parents back home and create a better life, did not deserve to lose his life the way he did.
Pues era bien trabajador, bien alegre, tenía muchas amistades, lo querían mucho. Pues sus sueños eran de que él se iba a Estados Unidos. Dijo, yo me voy para ayudarte porque tú andas cosiendo en la costura y ya ni siquiera ves para ensartar la máquina. Él viajó por tener una vida más bien, para darnos una vida a nosotros bien.
In the last moments when Marcos's mother saw her son, she showed the heart of a warrior and hoped to keep his son alive by donating his organs.
Cuando él estaba en el hospital, la doctora habló conmigo y me dijo que mi hijo tenía muerte cerebral. Me dijo que si podía yo donar sus órganos porque él tenía todos sus órganos bien. Puso muchas vidas por delante.
Before ending the video, We would like to pay our heartfelt condolences to Marcos Guerra's family. May his soul forever rest in peace.
City Dispatch, can I help you?
Hi, I'm trying to do a wellness check on a friend of mine that's in Ketchikan.
Okay, what's his or her name?
Eric Garcia, and I haven't heard from him. So I'm getting